بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ثم أما بعد. We are still in Surah Al-Mulk and inshallah hoping to finish this one soon. Inshallah. So, Surah Al-Mulk, the official translation would be the ownership of the kingdom, yes, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the whole verses of Surah Al-Mulk rotate around that. If you understand the meanings of it, you'll see that the philosophy is that this is the ownership of Allah, and Allah's made it submissive to us. And because Allah made it submissive to us, we assume that we're the ones in control. But the reality we're not. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on explaining that, yes? And this brings us to a philosophical concept of reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reliance on Allah's blessings. Which one to rely on? Yes. And Allah said that if you rely on Him, it's quite different. If you rely on His blessings and assume that His blessings are a given and assumes that His blessings are going to be there forever, yes, then you misunderstand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's gifts. And we said that this world is a piece of rock that's flying in space and being flung around the sun in a helical formation, and the sun's been traveling in the galaxy at great speed, and the galaxy traveling at great speed as well. And so there's no life around us. There's no life around us. We have planets that are just pieces of rock. And then Allah's made this planet in the middle that has an atmosphere, has a magnetic field, protective magnetic field. There are so many intricacies of this planet to make it possible for life, to the extent that the scientists in the past would say you need 3 factors only to support life. Now they're counting 256 and still going. And in some cases they're saying that mathematically, or we should not be alive, we should not exist, because the factors against our existence are much more than those that are towards it. So it is a situation of that invites us to think in Allah's creation. It invites us to appreciate Allah's creation and His blessings to us. Despite this immense movement, we stay here, we wake up, we don't wake up in Nicaragua or, go to sleep and wake up tomorrow in a different continent. We have stable lives, we have stable streets, we don't find that, the trees start flying off the ground, and we don't find ourselves. Everything is stable and steady. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that He's capable, in a second, of transforming this into something that is destructive. The solid land that we walk on, solid ground. Allah is saying that أَأَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Are you so arrogant that you do not think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of squashing this earth beneath your feet and making it shake? Yes? Are you so comfortable that the wind and air that you look so simple and so peaceful and just swaying the tree branches calmly can transform into a severe punishment? أَمْ أَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ أَنْ يُرْسِلَ عَلَيْكُمْ حَاصِبًا فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ كَيْفَ نَذِيرٌ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves to a very important concept, that even the birds in the sky, Allah is telling us that even despite the fact that they're spreading their wings and bringing their wings closer to them, yes, to fly, which is the mechanism of flying, despite that, they are being carried by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not being carried, they are not flying. Allah's given them the reasons, Allah's given them the means, but they are held in the sky by Allah's determination, desire. If not, then He wouldn't let us. And people say that the feminine description of مَا يُمْسِكُهُنَّ, and nun here is nun al-niswa, is reference to future as planes that we are going to use as well, yes? Because birds are not feminine, yes? They're not described in Arabic as feminine. So that people are saying that مَا يُمْسِكُهُنَّ, yumsik is to hold, yes? Hunna here is for feminine, reference to feminine. So saying, well, why is it feminine? It may be reference to al-ta'ira, which is the plane that we use, or the rockets, or etc. etc. So, and we covered in the past that half of Islam is what? Half of Islam is what? And the other half is what? We said that we read it 17 times a day in our prayers. Yes. What in it describes Islam? إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. To you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we dedicate all our worship. And to you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we only rely. On you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only you we rely on, or rely upon. So we know the worship, but we don't see the reliance, because the reliance is an action of the heart. It's not an action of the physical. The action of the physical is to pray, to go to Hajj, for pilgrimage, to withhold food and drink from sunset, from sunrise to sunset, yes. But we to pay zakat for beyond a certain limit of money or wealth that stays within your hold for a year. These are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, these are your worship. But what about our reliance? How are we dedicating our reliance only? We are relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. But we use His reasons. I use the car to come here. I use the pen to write on the whiteboard behind me. Yeah. So how is this then? How is the reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yeah. How is it that this is reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Because it's out of our control.
Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah, when He describes Ibrahim alayhi salam, in our tashahhud, yes, we only dedicate 2 prophets in our tashahhud, whom are Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and Ibrahim. Anyone thought why Ibrahim alayhi salam? Allah describes Sayyidina Ibrahim, Inna Ibrahim kana ummah. Ummah means a whole nation. His faith is equivalent to that of a whole nation. Why? Ibrahim alayhi salam started his journey towards Allah from the young age. Yes. When they tied him up and to punish him for destroying their idols. Yes. They made a fire so big that it got out of control. Yes. Got out of control that they couldn't even throw him into it. So they had to make a catapult to throw him into the fire. Excessive. And excessive because they failed in the philosophical conversation. Yes? And the Quran described that. He said they failed in that philosophical conversation. He said, who did this to you, to our idols? Ibrahim smashed them all except one. Yes? فَعَلَهُمْ كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا. This one, this guy. Yeah, the big guy, he's the one that done it all. Yes? فَاسْأَلُوهُمْ إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْطِقُونَ. Ask them if they can speak. فَرَجَعُوا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ فَقَالُوا بَلْ أَنْتُمْ الظَّالِمُونَ. They returned back to themselves, well, actually, we're the ones in the wrong here. ثُمَّ نُكِسُوا عَلَىٰ رُؤُوسِهِمْ لَقَدْ عَلِمْتَ مَا هَؤُلَاءِ يَنْطِقُونَ. You know that these can't speak. Yes? So you worship instead of Allah things that cannot benefit you or damage you. Neither can bring benefit nor harm. So they failed in that. They failed in the argument. So when they failed in the argument, the next action was, yes, burn him and take revenge for your idols. And in this situation, Ibrahim alayhi salam did not have anyone else to support him with this truthfulness that he's found in his heart. No one. He's the only believer in a whole horde of non-believers. Yes? And they are tying him and throwing him with a catapult into the fire. And while he's being thrown Jibril alayhi salam comes to him. He says, do you need something? Alaka haja. If we're there, yeah, please just tie my hands from here and tie them from here, and I'll get the one at the back and we'll start, it's it, yes? But Ibrahim alayhi salam understood what the reliance on Allah means. That I don't really need you. I need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? With this extreme level of reliance on Allah, Allah had mandated a miracle to happen. قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Fire is a release of thermal energy through burning fuel, yes, and oxygen with it, and heat. And Allah told the fire, don't burn. Don't burn. By the way, Ibrahim alayhi salam has encountered other miracles after immense tests by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by passing these tests, he reached the stage of Allah choosing him and his son to raise the foundations of the Kaaba. Raise the foundation of the Kaaba. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going back, is telling us that rely on me. Do not get so comfortable with my blessings because they can transform in a second. What you see in front of you as beautiful day like today with warm weather and calm and happy. Actually, that warm weather is coming from a nuclear explosion 8.1 second, 8.3 light minutes away from us, isn't it? It's a nuclear explosion, isn't it? Yeah. It's a hydrogen bomb, really. It's a massive hydrogen bomb. Yeah. But we see all we receive from it is nice and beautiful day and clear, and then a nice bit of tan, and that's all we see from it. But because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it submissive, if He would choose not to, we would not have any choice ourselves. We would not have anyone support us to say, so whom's going to reverse Allah's orders? No one. Yeah. And that's why the name of the surah is Surah Al-Mulk. That's why the name of the surah is Surah Al-Mulk. The other philosophical aspect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in Surah Al-Mulk is, if I've created this intricate and immaculate creation for you, why is it not guiding you back to me? Why are you using it to not guide you back to me? Why is it guiding you astray? Why is it leading you astray from me? Either look closely in a very scientific approach, or look with your naked eye, and both will lead you back to the same conclusion. Life, Allah's created it with a expiry date. And why does it have an expiry date? Because we are biologically designed to die. I was reading about a businessman that's spending $2 million a year to try to reverse his aging process.
Yeah. Norwegian, right?
I don't know his but
It's
well, Allah told Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the Quran clearly, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا لِبَشَرٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ الْخُلْدَ أَفَإِن مِتَّ فَهُمُ الْخَالِدُونَ. If I decide you, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that you're going to die, are they going to live? Am I going to write them as immortal after you? Absolutely not. So Allah's telling us, life and death are here for a reason. Life and death are here as a test. Life and death means you have a limited amount of time to show me which one are you deserving of the to be a dweller of Jannah or a dweller of Jahannam. And Allah usually describes Jahannam and then He describes Jannah after it, or describes Jannah and then describes Jahannam. In the verses, He usually balances out. In this one, He didn't. Allah gave a very long description of the people of Jahannam. Not in their torture only, but the fact that what are they stating on the Day of Judgment? وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. If we understood, if we used our brains, or if we used our ears, yes, if we used our senses to intake this beauty and processed it, we wouldn't be here today, one of the people in the dwellers of Jahannam. We wouldn't. So Allah's spinning it from this way, from this side, yes. And then we said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He describes Jahannam and the torture in it, it is a deterrent more than it is a warning. Beware, there's a cliff ahead. Do not drive at the speed of 100 and jump off it. Yes. Beware that humanity, you will be asked on the day of judgment. Beware, humanity, that those who will fail this test will be forever in Jahannam. Has anyone stopped and thought, can Allah punish us more than Jahannam? Could Allah punish us more than Jahannam? He could. Is there in Allah's capabilities to torture us with what is worse than it? Yes. Yes. So yeah, Allah is the most capable. He could torture people with things more than Jahannam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this punishment. And we said that if you're a teacher and you tell your students, if you fail in this exam, I'm putting a test, please, we all need to revise and work hard. And I'll give you 5 documents to read. And trust me, the exam will come from those. It won't come from outside of them. But those that fail will be expelled. Yes? They won't be able to continue with us in this class, etc., etc. The more I make it clear that how important the outcome of this exam is, the more I'm prompting the students to study. It's not for me to terrify people to the extent that they are paralyzed with fear and can't do anything about it. When Allah describes Jahannam, Allah describes Jahannam in the same way. And if you follow Jahannam in the verses of the Quran, you'll see that Allah describes it in different places for different kinds of torture. Psychological, in many, yes. The sense of regret of the people in Jahannam. Allah describes that they are there in إِنَّهَا عَلَيْهِمْ مُؤْصَدَةٌ فِي عَمَدٍ مُمَدَّدَةٍ. The doors are locked and will not be opened again. People that enter Jahannam will not come out of it. لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَهُمْ فِيهَا لَا يَسْمَعُونَ. They have a characteristic scream in it, and despite the scream, they cannot hear. You know when you're screaming but from pain, but you can hear, you can listen to your scream. It's more relieving, yes? Imagine if you're screaming and you can't even hear your scream, yeah? That they are resurrected on the day of judgment with clothes out of nar, out of Jahannam. سَرَبِيلُهُمْ مِنْ قَطْرَانٍ, from tar, yes? وَتَغْشَى وُجُوهُهُمُ النَّارِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the process of the people in Jahannam after they've been thrown into it. They say first, just give us, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make one day just a little less of torture, just one day. Yes? They don't get their quest. So they say to okay, Ahl al-Jannah, people dwellers of Jannah, give us some water. Give us some water or some food. Anything that Allah's given you. Yes, Allah answers. It is forbidden for those of Jahannam. So then they go to the next level. رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْهَا فَإِنْ عُدْنَا فَإِنَّا ظَالِمُونَ. Let us go out and try again. And if we come back here with our actions, then we are the wrongdoers. قَالَ اخْسَأُوا فِيهَا وَلَا تُكَلِّمُونَ. Shut up, do not speak. Do not speak. Because I have sent my messengers to you already. And there are people that have followed them. Yes? And finally they say, وَقَالُوا يَا مَالِكْ لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. Let Allah kill us. If we can't leave it, let Allah kill us. The answer comes 1,000 years later. إِنَّكُمْ مَاكِثُونَ. Stay. Not going anywhere. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this description and the despair of the people. Allah describes that كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا أَن يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ غَمٍ وَعِدُوا فِيهَا. Every time they would like to leave it, from great despair and depression and sadness, deep-sighted sadness, they were dragged back in and thrown into it again. There's no way out. There's no way out. While on the other side of the world, of the other side, there are people there that everything they wanted and more is there for them. And the choice is simple. The choice is extremely simple. Allah in the Quran, 1/3 of the Quran is talking about Allah stating He is the only Lord to be worshipped. Believe in me and worship me. Yes? Allah then says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ يُدْخِلُهُمْ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمَلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Those that were believers and did performed good deeds. That's all. That's all. That's all. Yes? And good deeds start from shaking someone's hand and smiling in their face, saying some kind words to someone. Yes? Helping people out in need. Giving half a date, sadaqah, half a date, sadaqah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Taha, He says, وَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا وصرفنا فيه من الوعيد لعلهم يتقون أو يحدث لهم ذكرا. And we have sent this Quran, yes, in clear, yes, Arabic, for those that people can understand. وَصَرَفْنَا فِيهِ مِنَ الْوَعِيدِ, which means we have profusely explained in it what will happen to those that do not believe in Allah. Yes. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. Maybe they go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and look for ways to shield themselves from His anger. أَوْ يُحْدِثَ لَهُمْ ذِكْرًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going through this process, and Allah describes this to us now because Allah has already for what Allah's describing. Allah's describing in the past tense. Allah's not describing this will happen. Allah is describing for us this will happen. For Him it happened. And this is quite scary. Yes? Allah, when He describes this, He describes it in a past tense. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. This is a past tense. Siqa is being taken as delegates. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زُمَرًا. Yes? And this is quite concerning because this is not something that will happen. This is something that has happened, and Allah is describing us the past that's happened in Allah's past and telling us about it now before the Day of Judgment. Yes, Allah is telling us what the people of the non-believers will act like. Allah will tell us, is telling us what happened on that day. What happened on that day? Not what will happen on that day, what happened on that day. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Him subhanahu wa ta'ala is not bound by time. So, yes. And then Allah tells us that the people that believe in other things other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكْفُرُونَ بِشِرْكِهِمْ. They state on the Day of Judgment, Allah, we did not believe in anything but you. Yes? And then Allah says, وَلَا يُنَبِّئُكَ مِثْلَ خَبِيرٍ. No one can explain that or tell that to you except the most knowledgeable of it. Most knowledgeable because, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has stated that it happens and it has happened in Allah's time. Yes? So when Allah is describing this for us, He's not promising us what will happen. He's telling us what He has bound to happen, what He has set to happen. And then we come to the final part of Surah Al-Mulk. And the final part of Surah Al-Mulk, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. So when is that day of judgment? And by the way, that question is repeated quite a lot in the Quran. If you are so truthful, when is the day of judgment? Yes? If you're so truthful, when is the day of judgment? Allah does not respond by telling them, oh, the day of judgment is on. No. Allah's responding by saying, what will happen, what has happened to the people of Jahannam, or the people, the non-believers, the moment they see Jahannam. When they see it. Yes? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the immense regret and fear when they see Jahannam. Not answering their question by saying, oh, by the way, it will be happening on this day and this day and this day. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden it for a very clear reason. Yes? This is part of the test. Yes? So when is it going to end? It's going to end when our lives end. The moment we die, the moment our day of judgment starts. It's time is irrelevant then. Time is irrelevant. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, is answering them. He's saying, فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهُ زُلْفَةً سِيئَتْ وُجُوهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَقِيلَ هَذَا الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تَدَّعُونَ. When they see it, سِيئَ وُجُوهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, see, which means their faces are extremely insulted by what they've seen. Now Allah tells them, this is what you used to make fun of. This is what you used to make fun of. Yes? وَقِيلَ هَذَا الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تَدَّعُونَ. Yes? قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَهْلَكَنِيَ اللَّهُ مَنْ مَعِيَ أَوْ رَحِمَنَا فَمَنْ يُجِيرُ الْكَافِرِينَ مِنْ عَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. If you're so unhappy with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions and the one to follow him and the one from his nation after it, if Allah erased them all from his existence, yes, would that save the people, the unbelievers, from Jahannam? It wouldn't. Wouldn't. So Allah's telling them in other words, the reality is coming. There's no way to run away from it. The only reason that the Prophet is here and the people after him is to warn you of that day. If Allah decided to eradicate all humanity or keep them, that would not save the people from the non-believers from Jahannam. Yes? قُلْ هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ آمَنَّا بِهِ وَعَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْنَا فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ هُوَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. And then the ayah after that goes into, if you know that is the outcome anyway, neither if Allah eradicates humanity or keeps them, then say these words. قُلْ هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ آمَنَّا بِهِ. Say, Allah the most merciful is the one that we believe in. Yes? Say it. قُلْ هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ آمَنَّا بِهِ وَعَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْنَا. And right after it is, and on him we rely. Going back to the whole of the Surah Al-Mulk, it is referring back to the whole of Surah Al-Mulk. Before that, عَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْنَا. On him we rely and rely on him only. Yes? And then finally, Allah saying, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَصْبَحَ مَاؤُكُمْ غَوْرًا. If your water, yes, becomes sunken into the ground, yes, or becomes salty and not suitable for drinking, فَمَنْ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِمَاءٍ مَعِينٍ. Whom except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring to you, yes, drink water that you're capable of drinking. And the sunnah is to answer that question in the prayer and say, Allahu Rabbul Alamin. Whom else except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring you that? Yes? So if I would summarize Surah Al-Mulk, I would say Surah Al-Mulk is 4 things. Number 1, Allah is the owner of this kingdom and this creation. If He has made things available for us, and submissive for us, this is from His mercy towards us. If He's made things available for us and submissive for us, this is from His test to us. Yes? Number 2, this intricate universe and this beautiful creation and this well-balanced creation invites us all to think, if everything's so well-balanced, what about life and death? Why is there life and death? Why is it that if I throw a ball towards the wall, it will come back an exact energy that I threw it in, minus resistance, in the opposite direction? Yeah. Why is it the Krebs cycle will always develop 36 ATP if there's oxygen, or 32 ATP and only 2 if there's no? Why is it that everything's so well balanced and well fixed in this universe? Except our actions. Sometimes they have consequences in this world and sometimes they don't. And if they do not have consequences in this world, then there must be another place where all consequences of actions are fully repaid and restored. 3, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's given us these blessings not to cling our hearts towards those blessings, to use them, but not to attach our reliance on them. And that's very different. When we ride in our car, the usual sunnah is to say, Subhanalladhi sakharana hada. Subhanallah that made this submissive to us. Yes? Allah made this car submissive to us. Made how many million years ago some fuel, some animal, carbon-based life that transformed under pressure into petrol and this, and then after that, Allah gave someone the knowledge of how to make an internal combustion engine, and then gave humanity the capability to use iron, which is a material that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made with this quality. So Allah's made it submissive. Allah's made it available to us. But we don't say, yeah, alhamdulillah, I got a car. Yeah, great. So, no, subhanallah, always link it back to its owner. Yes? And finally, the fourth philosophical concept is that punishment is going to happen no matter what. Punishment is going to happen no matter what for those that are non-believers. Yes? So, wait, you're still alive. You're reading these verses. Use Allah's guidance in the Quran. Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and act well before the day of judgment comes. And I think that's Surah Al-Mulk. These are the 4 fundamental aspects of Surah Al-Mulk. Whenever you're, one of my biggest objections with the concept that if you're successful, that you write a book about how I became successful in life. And if you're a very rich person, you write how did I become rich, and and if I'm a Nobel laureate, prize winner, then I say, well, how did I become? Yes. There are certain mannerisms you need to attain for success. There's no doubt about that. But no one refers to the Creator that made this happen for. No one refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that made this. If we look at our lives, we see our lives is a continuous cycle of events that could have, if one of them went wrong, one of them went sour, wouldn't be where we are now. So I can't claim that, I became a trillionaire in this world. It's because I've done this and this. And I work really hard. There are people that work harder than you. I'm really smart. There are people that are smarter than you. Yeah? I had a great idea. Who gave you that idea? Yes. I decided at the young age to do this and this. You didn't decide anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pushed you toward this because He didn't make other doors available for you. a human living on earth with his heart linked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a person that is a step away from Jannah. Is a step away from Jannah. Yes. A person that lives in this world with his heart linked and reliant purely on Allah's reasons and rules and blessings that He's bestowed on him, without referring to his Creator once, and returning the ownership of all this back to his Creator, is one step away from Jahannam. And that's why I'm saying that half of our religion is the actions of the physical, and the other half is the actions of the heart. This reliance is an action of the heart. You don't say, just because I have money in my bank account, then I won't need anything else. Alhamdulillah, I'm sorted. I'm sorted now. Yes. Alhamdulillah. And Allah describes this in other verses. He said, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Those that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the edge. It's on the edge. Yes. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ يَطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. If Allah gives him good in this world, يَطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. He's satisfied and content with this. And he's a good believer, and he's a good, yes. Because his reliance is on Allah's blessings. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ. And if Allah tests him, انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك هو الخسران المبين. If Allah tests him by taking away his health, or his wealth, or his wife, or his parents, or his children, or his car, or whatever, suddenly it shows where the reliance lies. Was it on Allah's blessings, or was it on Allah's? Those that's on Allah's blessings, suddenly they fall back. Say, well, Allah took away this from me, and this, and I'm not going to worship Him anymore because of that. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم.